I said, there's times where I feel like a failure. There's times where I want to give up. There's times where I'm just like thinking, what's the point? Is this really for me? I pray about it. I work for it. I remember those tests. Today we're going to talk about. Forget what we're going to talk about. No, I'm just playing. But last segment, last episode we were talking about like being judged and stuff like that, being judged on, and I kind of got into like insecurities, so it kind of got me thinking about doing this episode, like kind of talk about insecurities, and with insecurities kind of comes anxieties and stuff like that, and yeah, I'm really glad because I don't actually got that much like anxiety. I mean, of course, like I still get nervous and stuff like that, but I know a lot of people that have like, say like social anxiety and anxiety attacks and stuff like that. And anxiety used to that word used to bug me. I don't know why, but I always felt like people use that as an excuse and stuff like that for life. But at the same time, I used to just think it was like, oh, that's the devil in your head and stuff like that. And then I was paying more attention to like Christian rappers and like Christian podcasts and stuff like that, and they talk about it too a lot. So it's like, yes, Christians do still have anxiety. Like it still does get to you and stuff like that, and a lot of people take medication for it and stuff like that. I'm the opposite. I go to church about it and stuff like that, and I mean, I get it, you do you and stuff like that. I just, medication, I don't like it. I mean, yes, when I get a headache, I take Advil and stuff like that. But to me, personally, I don't like it. Because this is why I'm going to explain about my insecurities at one point too. And yeah, I did talk about it a little bit in the whole judgment and being called ugly and stuff like that. Here's another big insecurity I used to have. And it was more about my personality, actually, on this one. When I was 8 years old, I got put on ADHD medication. As it's called Adderall and stuff like that. So if you have ADHD, it makes you into a total zombie. And teachers and my family member was saying like, oh, it will help you focus in class and stuff like that. I used to be this hyper energetic kid, and yeah, I'll admit it, I was probably super annoying and stuff like that. I was super sensitive too as a kid, and I'll admit it. So I wasn't like this great student or anything. I'm not gonna say I didn't need it necessarily, but I feel like it also ruined me at the same time. So I got put on it or whatever, and I got turned. I didn't take it on the weekend. So when I did take it, I took it on a Monday type deal. And I remember just going to school, I was like a zombie. I kid you not. I remember I was like this. Like all the time. I remember this is where I get from like biting my nails type of deal. And everyone thinks it's like, some people think it's like an anxiety thing and stuff like that. That's one of my addictions, is biting my nails. I see it long, so I just do it. Because I remember when I was in school one time, I zoned out. I was like, that medication just made me not there. And so I remember I just like literally was biting my nails, and I wasn't even, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like I was brainwashed. And this is just coming from me personally. This is how I felt. And I remember when I didn't take the medication, I was off the walls. I was going through a basic withdrawal in a way. I remember I was just constantly eating, constantly talking, couldn't sit still, couldn't bounce off the walls. And once I was 16 years old and stuff like that, I went off of it. And it's, yeah, I can't focus sometimes, and, I still can't sit still, that well and stuff like that. But what human literally can sit still at school for 8 hours? Like, you have to be on something. I know sadly a lot of people that take caffeine pills that like study for 24 hours, but that's a different story. So like I said, other people have different things and stuff like that. And yeah, like I said, I still can't focus. That's why I go on tangents and rants a lot, because I lose track on what I'm saying. But it, like I said, that medication, like once I went off of it, I control myself a lot better It was more as, okay, yeah, I still can't really focus in class that well, but at the same time, though, I wasn't off the bunkers as I used to be. I wasn't constantly talking. And this is where my insecurities kind of came from, though. When I went off of it, or no, when I was on it, I remember talking to people about it, and they're just like, well, but some people said you're not you when you're off of it. That kind of hurt, honestly, because it's more as like, so what you're saying is you don't like me for me. What you're saying is when I'm on this medication, you like that more. So you basically are saying you don't like me for being myself. Like, yeah, and that did kind of hurt. And I remember going on school field trips and I didn't take my medication. And I remember I was just being my goofy self. And yes, I was probably super obnoxious, I'll admit it. Because when you go through withdrawal on it, trust me, your mind's just everywhere. You're just bouncing everywhere back and forth. And then as soon as, like I said, as soon as I just stopped taking in general, I calmed it down. I just kind of in a way knew when to stop being so obnoxious. And you also, I think I was like 11 years old at this time. So like I said, I went on like school field trips and I remember people were just like, what's wrong with Corey? And I remember hearing that. And it's more as like, what do you mean what's wrong with me? Like, like I'm just being me. But at the same time, it's like everyone at school knew me as kind of quiet and stuff like that. And I remember people used to say that all the time. They're just like, why do you never talk? Trust me, at home I do when the medication wears off. And like I said, when I didn't take it on the weekends, I went in on that Monday and taking it, I was literally like a zombie. I remember eating dinner and this was me. Like, you ever seen the movie Click? Like, remember how when he fast forwards on the remote and stuff like that? That was me. And it's me personally, when I become a parent and a teacher says, oh, your kid has ADHD, let's put him on Adderall, I'm going to say absolutely not. That can also lead into a drug addiction. I'm very thankful I didn't get that. Because I didn't like it. Like I said, I didn't like it. Because I remember waking up in the morning or whatever before school and just taking it and just being like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And I remember as soon as I stopped taking it, honestly, it felt good. And I remember too, though, because people that didn't know me off of it type of deal, they were just like, dude, you should go off your medication, bro. You should go off your medication. They're just like telling me this. And I'm like, I don't know, my, family member wants me on it or whatever. And it's just, it did kind of hurt, I guess, that I did take it. I don't know. I guess I felt like people didn't know the real me and stuff like that. And now we're gonna talk about though more like anxiety and stuff like that. Because I did, like I said, I kind of talk about my insecurity and stuff like that, personalities, and like I said, my personality grew a lot. It grew a lot better over the years. Trust me, I was not like this back when I was a kid, and your past literally changes you for the better and the worse. But more talking about anxiety and stuff like that. Like I said, I used to not really believe in it and stuff like that. And trust me, my biggest anxiety, I'm just going to say, my biggest anxiety is test. Okay, I do not do well on tests. Okay, I didn't do well on my driving test. I didn't do well on written tests for driving. I didn't do well on testing class and stuff like that. I didn't do well on basically a lot of tests and stuff like that. It's more as my brain just doesn't process it right or something like that. I don't know, like I said, and I do get those nervousness, but yet I still do it. I still conquer, and when I do get successful, when I do take over those tests, and I pass on it, it feels great. And yes, when I fail it, I feel like a failure. I really do. I feel like, oh, maybe this isn't for me, maybe it's not, type deal. Or maybe it is, or whatever. It's just, I do. I feel like a failure too sometimes. But at the same time, it's like, and then that makes you want to work harder though. And yes, sometimes you do, you just want to give up. But at the same time though, again, Come from a religious standpoint, that's what the devil wants and stuff like that. Think about what God wants for you, type deal. Do you think that, like, when everyone basically, disowned Jesus, do you think he was just like, well, I tried here, guys. It is what it is. You guys all gave up on me. It's whatever. No, he didn't. You kind of got to think like that. It's more of, I'm sorry, when everyone betrayed Jesus, do you really think he was just like, everyone betrayed me. I try my hardest. Absolutely not. Jesus is still talking about till this day. People still follow him, bro. Think about it like that. Don't be a follower, be a leader. Don't be like everybody else, be you. Like I said, there's times where I feel like a failure. There's times where I want to give up. There's times where I'm just like thinking, what's the point? Is this really for me? I pray about it. I work for it. I remember those tests that were super hard for me. I practice and practice and practice. As soon as I passed them, I was like, this is it. Let's go. And it does. You get that really good feeling. You start being also failing at things. As weird as this is gonna sound, you gotta think when that blessing happens, or when you succeed. When you succeed in something, it feels great, doesn't it? You got to think about this. This is one of my sayings I like to say. You're not going to have the blessing unless you have the challenge. And that's 100% true. People that get everything handed to them are the most ungrateful people. The people that struggle in life become the most blessed people. They become the nicest people. I didn't get stuff handed to me. As much as people want to think that and stuff like that. Yes, I do have a nice house. Yes, I do have a family that does love me. But at the same time, though, there was also obstacles in my way on my life to become the person I am today. Because I feel like, in a way, I am not ungrateful for what I have. I am blessed for what I have. Yes, there is times where I'm like, I want this and I want that. But at the same time, though, I think about what I have and what I'm grateful for. I try to stay on the positive way. I don't try to think on the negative way like so-and-so has this. Okay, so-and-so has this, but what got them there, though? You think Elon Musk literally, like, has everything handed to him? How much you want to bet? He had challenges and obstacles in his way. Again, in life, there is going to be obstacles and challenges in your way. There is going to be times where you feel like a failure. And there's going to be also times where you, as most people, I feel like they pray about it and stuff like that. And a lot of people think they're just like, oh, I prayed about this, but it didn't happen. Sometimes things don't happen for a reason. Okay, as I talk about in my testimony. But you also got to think about like this. Think about all the times you did pray for something, or you worked for something and it worked out. Were you blessed by that and stuff like that? Are you blessed now about that situation, or do you just look at it where you move forward and you want the next big thing? That's where a lot of people do it. They get their dream car that they wanted. They were probably blessed for a week. And then they're just like, oh, now I want this. Now I want a new house. A lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people want something new, because they think that those objects are going to buy happiness. Bro, 100% that's false lie. Or that's a big lie, I mean. Like I said, talking about nervousness and anxiety and stuff like that, we all get that way. And I get it, other people have different things and stuff like that. To me, like I said, I feel like you just got to conquer it. No, it's not going to be, you're not going to conquer in just a day or whatever. Like, it does. It takes time. Find your happy place. Find your peace. Find what helps you, basically. And like I said, my biggest insecurity was once being called ugly. Or like I said, with the ADHD, with the personality thing and stuff like that. Feeling like people aren't gonna love me for me and stuff like that, but now it's like I've been off of it for like 7 years, and I honestly don't think, how do I put it? Like, I feel like I don't ever gotta go back on it, because it's more as like people care for me. Like I said, I struggle for tests, and some people say, they're like, oh, do you want to go back on the medication? Bro, I was failing tests too when I was on a medication. What do you mean? Why would I go back on it? I felt like I wasn't myself when I was on it. Like, it's basically, it's a drug, bro. Like, that's the way how I look at it. I prayed about it. I conquered my success. And yes, not everything that I prayed for came to me. But at the same time, I conquered a lot of my old anxieties that I had, a lot of nerves, a lot of insecurities that I used to have. Now I'm talking about it. Now I'm opening up about it because I'm trying to remember to people or talk to people that you're not alone. You're not alone about feeling like a failure. We all feel like it sometimes. We all feel like we're not good enough on ourselves and stuff like that. But you got to remember the things that you did conquer from your past. You got to think about the person you once was. You're not the same person. You have to think about the people that do care for you and love you and stuff like that. Because there is people out there that do. And like I said, I mean, all I got to say is this, though. You're not alone out there. Trust me. People are there for you, especially God. But this is Real Talk with K.M.B. We out.